Well, that actually leads us into with the roundabout defensive structures here. The top five defenders. So what like I was kind of half not half laughing, but like define a defender now because there's all kinds of them in terms of you have your half backs in terms of I remember playing Donegal in 2012 the All Ireland final and their half forwards were their half backs and their half backs were their half forwards. You
Yeah.
have obviously can you classify the likes of Gavin White, Paddy Durkin, Jack McCaffrey, James McCarthy? Are they defenders? They're attacking. They obviously are. But I think you know the point I'm kind of getting at here.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
think I think you're right. Look, I think what you're saying there, like obviously, from a defensive point of view now, what you tend to find is your defenders probably see a lot more ball than they would have seen in the past. You're obviously, I think something at the weekend. I think somebody, it could have been Enda Hessian, I'm not sure, but there was somebody who ended up like at cornerback with like 50, 60
oh,
possessions in the game.
Tom,
Tom O'Sullivan. Tom
yes, Tom,
O'Sullivan.
yeah.
Kerry, ended up with
Mm.
50, 60 possessions. So, like, you do need probably defenders that can defend and defenders that can play football. I'm thinking, you talked to 2012, I'm thinking in the past of, the likes of Philly McMahon, Johnny Cooper, Mick Fitzsimmons, who's still playing, Neil McGee from Donegal. I'm thinking of what did you call him again? We cornerback. He was absolutely McFlynn. What was the other lad? It's gone out of my head. The Donegal lad. I'm thinking about that 2012 team. But
Paddy
you had
McGrath.
Paddy McGrath. You defenders who could properly defend, and I go back into like. He's one of my favorite players at the minute in the soccer, like Martinez, from Argentina. He just loves defending, like he celebrates a tackle or a block, like a forward would celebrate a score. But there's
Yeah.
very few probably real out and out defenders. I'm thinking of the likes of Chrissy McKaig from Derry who can go in and literally let's lock a man away. Lock a man away. Now, McKaig's a freak in that capacity that he's very, very effective at that role. Cooper could have done it. Fitzsimmons could have done it. Padraig O'Hara last year, Oisin Mullen, but they were still very, very effective on the front foot as well. And I think that's something obviously you're probably taking into consideration when you're looking at a defender now. It's not just good enough to probably mark a man. You need
No,
to be competent
no.
on the ball as well. So I think
Or
that's something to consider.
what happens there, Stevie, is like everything else, video analysis. If you're weak in the ball, that they'll for the short kickouts. If you're
Yeah,
getting a defensive structure there, they leave the worst man on the ball and let him come out with the ball, and
yeah,
he's trying to get rid of it. And yeah, you just can't get away with it anymore. It's the
yeah,
huge emphasis on obviously ball playing defenders. But as you said, getting that balance right in terms of, I think, to be honest, I think Mayo had too many fucking going forward last year. Everyone wants to get forward and no one wanted to defend. Like someone has to mind the house as well. There has to be someone understanding there, or balances would be the right word, as you said there, to strike up when you want to go forward. But
yeah.
so who we saying so from the top five? Who are you talking? If you had to take five, it's Joe. We go six because it's six in the back line. If you want to go six defenders, who would you go?
Look, it's obviously
We we go. This is like the All Stars actually.
right.
Like
Right, what I'm going to say to you, here now is I'm looking at the three best defensive records in the four divisions. Okay,
yeah,
um, Derry are the best defensive team in the country, right? So I'm looking at the likes of Chrissy McKaig, McCluskey. I'm looking at Padraig McGrogan. Padraig McGrogan's having a fantastic season from centre half back. Really, really good footballer. Brilliant footballer. So for me, the two from Derry are McKaig and McGrogan. I think they're two brilliant, brilliant footballers. I would certainly have both those two players in my top 5 or 6. In Cavan, another team who are playing really, really well, knocking up big scores, but also defensively have been really, really measly. They're coming up against a Down team this weekend who are scoring goals. So it'll be interesting to see if Cavan can keep Down's goal threat out, because it's probably what's keeping Down's promotion bid alive is their goal threat. But I'm looking at Paddy Faulkner there at full back. An all-star a few years back. Podrick's only 29, so he's coming into his peak years. An absolute warrior of a player. You know, a real old school sort of fullback as well. You know, can mind the square, can mark a man, is good under high ball. Roscommon are the other team who are playing really well defensively. A lad who I've worked with in the past, who I rate very, very highly, probably as I've mentioned him a few times in the show, is Brian Stack. I think he's actually the captain this year of Roscommon. Stacky's a fantastic defender. Brian has played wing half forward in DCU teams that have won Sigerson Cup, so he's equally as good on the ball and as he is off the ball as well. Your own county there, obviously Enda Hessian. I mentioned this man last week as well, Connor Loftus. New lease of life for Connor Loftus, you know, at centre half back. I could be right in saying, did Loftus not come into the team as a sort of as a forward, as a corner forward coming in?
Corner forward, Bet Derry actually the qualifier last minute goal back in was it 16 or 17?
Yeah, Now,
but the one thing though with the one concern I have with Mayo is Connor is obviously new role for him as centre back, getting his reads right in terms of having that experience as a centre back. He is kind of stepping back in that sweeper role sometimes. That's going to be a pivotal role, especially in Croke Park. It'd be interesting how he gets on with it, because that's going to be a big one there now in terms of for Mayo's progress in the championship. And I think also with Mayo, I want to see, obviously look at, they had 2 draws against Galway and Armagh, but I want to see in terms of, you know, when it comes to crunch time, I want to see a clear kind of offensive plan. Basically, what I'm trying to say to you, when Mayo need a score, that they know what they're doing in terms of as a collective. Before, I think in the past, it was too individual. People were hoping they might get a free shot. I don't think the hype is that we'll see. I just think about the Kerry game last year where Leroy had a slicer outside the boot and put it wide. There was a couple of games
hoping for those magical moments where, you know, Mayo sort of feed off that sort of manic last period of 10 minutes where it's nearly, the game's nearly taking a life of its own, like, you know, rather than Derry, who are in total control of their offensive plays, like, you know, and
exactly. So sorry, I stopped you in the moment there. We have McCaig, McGrogan, Faulkner, Stack, Hessian, Connor Loftus.
And probably Tom O'Sullivan's in there as well. I think I've named 7 there in total, you know. So most teams playing with 10 defenders now anyway, so 7's not too bad, you know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to argue with that. It's hard. When I was going down through the list, what's the story with Gavin White this year at Kerry? I haven't seen him at all. Is he injured?
No. He could be listening. He could be getting an extended break. He could be doing a bit of conditioning. He could be rehabbing. I don't know. I haven't followed it that closely. I wouldn't be overly sure of what the situation is with him. But for me, those boys that I've mentioned are probably lads that are currently playing really well. You know, particularly when you look at the 3 best defensive records in the league. Obviously, defending now is a collective rather than an individual thing. But those players are definitely a major part of those 3 teams' success. You know, so like the 4 for me, McCaig, McGrogan, Faulkner, Stack, you know, are definitely, you know, nearly just in a top bracket there. And then obviously Enda Hessian and Mayo, you know, Loftus probably would throw him in, but probably if I was picking 6, I'd probably go Hessian, Faulkner, McCaig, and then I would just go probably Stack, McGrogan, and Tom O'Sullivan.